Hi, ArcfieldWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Tuesday morning, April 12th. Really two big stories going on right now. A major snowstorm for parts of the Dakotas, especially hard hit, will be the state of North Dakota. But this snowfall has extended all the way from the west coast of the Pacific Northwest across the northern Rockies and now into the Dakotas, and some parts of North Dakota will end up between 20 and 25 inches of snow. And it's not unusual, certainly, to get accumulating snow in the month of April, but this is certainly on the high side, and in some cases record side as well. Portland, Oregon, for example, had about an inch or two of snow the other day. That's, I believe, the latest recorded accumulating snow in Portland, Oregon since records began a long time ago. Now, while this snowstorm is raging up across the Dakotas, severe weather is a threat today in the middle of the nation and then tomorrow across the Mississippi Valley, and we'll get into all the details about all of this over the next several minutes. Again, the key factor here in the weather pattern is that we continue to have cold air outbreaks, certainly allowing for the possibility of this accumulating snow, and it also increases the chance for severe weather outbreaks this time of the year because the sun is gaining in strength each day. It's increasingly strong, and you often have this cold, dry air to the north and west clashing with increasingly humid and warmer air to the south and east coming out of the Gulf of Mexico. And today that clash sets up in the middle of the nation, and tomorrow shifts to the east a little bit to the Mississippi Valley. Well, here's the forecast map of total snowfall between now and Thursday morning. So it's the next 48 hours, and look at this incredible all the way up in North Dakota with, again, it snowed all the way to the west coast of the Pacific Northwest over the last few days. Even Portland, Oregon received some accumulating snow. Very, very unusual, if not unprecedented, for that part of the nation this late in the season. Look at some of these totals by the GFS. 21 inches of snow across North Dakota, substantial amounts in northwestern South Dakota as well, and southeastern Montana. That'll extend all the way up into the southern part of Canada over the next couple of days. Meanwhile, in the warm sector of this particular storm, a severe weather threat today and tonight across the heartland. Here we have the forecast map. I know is Storm Prediction Center. They're based out in Norman, Oklahoma. When you see an enhanced probability, that's pretty high, and you see a couple of areas down across east and central Texas and all the way up across the northern plains here, especially focused on the state of Iowa as an example. But this entire area is under the gun today for possible strong to severe thunderstorms. At the same time, colder air is pushing in from the north and west. Warmer air and humid air is pushing out of the Gulf of Mexico. Here's the clash region today. Again, keeping in mind that this part of the nation will have some substantial snowfall over the next 12 to 24 to 36 hours or so. This severe weather threat will shift a little bit to the east tomorrow into the Mississippi Valley region with a very widespread area of enhanced probabilities of severe thunderstorm activity. And all of this then shifts into the eastern U.S. on Thursday, albeit in a weakened form. There certainly can be some strong thunderstorms along the eastern seaboard during the day on Thursday. So for today, in the middle of the nation, tomorrow across the Mississippi Valley, and then in a weakened form, there'll be some strong to potentially severe weather in the eastern states on Thursday. Well, let's walk through the 0Z run of the GFS. This is the operational version, and looking at 850 millibar temperature anomalies. And again, we continue to have these cold air outbreaks from Canada into the U.S. That, of course, allows for the possibility of accumulating snow, and it increases the chances for severe weather outbreaks with the clash of air masses. Looks like that active weather pattern will continue for another couple of weeks. And here we go today. Warmer air finally moving into the mid-Atlantic region, northeast U.S. There are plenty of clouds around this morning. The temperatures in the 40s or 50s, even some shower activity. All that goes away this afternoon in places like D.C., Philadelphia, New York City. Expect some sunshine this afternoon and a run towards the 70-degree mark, maybe even into the lower 70s, middle 70s in some spots along the I-95 corridor region. Turns even warmer on Wednesday and Thursday. D.C., Philadelphia, New York City could certainly make a run to 80 degrees on Wednesday afternoon and Thursday afternoon. But you'll see in a moment here, much colder air comes back into the scene here, especially looking like Easter Sunday could be a chilly holiday in the Northeast, in the Mid-Atlantic region. We'll take a look at that in a moment here. But for today, much warmer air covering the eastern two-thirds of the nation. At the same time, very, very cold air for this time of the year. This is some 20 to 25 degrees below normal across Montana, southwestern part of Canada. Again, 1 to 2 feet of snow expected over the next 24 hours up across North Dakota, and a lot of snow in Montana, northwestern South Dakota as well. That cold air mass continues to move to the east, and by the time we get to later tomorrow night, that severe weather threat, that clash zone area will be right along the Mississippi River Valley. Right in here is where the severe weather threat exists for tomorrow and tomorrow evening. Today a little bit more over the heartland, and this will then continue to shift to the south and east. Here we go. By the time we get into Thursday morning, could be a clash zone over the Ohio Valley and shifting into the eastern states. Again, a run to 80 degrees on Thursday and Wednesday afternoon, D.C., Philadelphia, New York City. But a look at all this cold air upstream. Could be a strong thunderstorm along the eastern seaboard on Thursday. And there'll be one cool frontal system that pushes through on Thursday night. That'll usher in cooler air for the end of the work week. Here we are on the Friday morning forecast map. Slightly cooler. Still pretty mild though overall. Probably instead of 80 degrees on Thursday afternoon in places like D.C., Philadelphia, maybe 70 degrees on Friday. A little bit cooler, maybe 10 degrees knocked off by that initial cold frontal system. But then as we go to the weekend, here we are by Saturday, there'll be a stronger cold front right in this region right here. Looks like that'll slide on through by the time we get to Easter Sunday. Here we are, Easter Sunday, very cool for this time of the year up across the northern half of the nation. Quite a symmetrical dichotomy here between the northern U.S. and the southern U.S. Southern U.S. being warmer than normal come Sunday, colder than normal up across much of the northern part of the nation, including D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, and certainly up across the northeastern part of the nation. Again, this is for Easter Sunday. Well, let's now take a look at the 500 millibar vorticity field, and certainly the vorticity maxima at the upper levels of the atmosphere will play a role in the severe weather possibilities both later today and again later tomorrow. Again, today, watch out in the heartland right here, an enhanced threat of severe thunderstorm activity, thanks in large part by this vigorous wave in the upper part of the atmosphere across the northern Rockies as we begin the day on Tuesday. That too contributes to the major snowstorm across the Dakotas, Montana, Wyoming. It moves to the north and east. Now on Wednesday, all of this severe weather threat shifts a little bit to the east from the middle of the nation to the Mississippi Valley, maybe the Tennessee Valley on Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening, all the way down in the deep south. You could have strong to severe thunderstorms, places like Huntsville, Alabama on Wednesday night, all the way down into the deep south. That continues to slide to the east. The front comes into the eastern part of the nation on Thursday. There can be a strong, potentially a severe thunderstorm along the eastern seaboard. Certainly that whole setup will be weaker compared to what is expected today and tomorrow in terms of the severe weather possibilities. But look at this cold upper level feature sitting right on top of the northern plains. In the wake of that snowstorm, there'll be very cold air for this time of the year, for the middle part of April, up across the Dakotas, Minnesota, Wisconsin. Very chilly heading into the late part of the week and into the upcoming weekend. And again, a second cold front pushes through the Great Lakes and into the eastern states. Here we are on Saturday morning. There'll be a secondary cold front right across the Great Lakes, and that'll push on through to the south and east by the time we get to Easter Sunday morning right here. And there'll be chilly air for this time of the year setting up all across the northern U.S. by the second half of the upcoming weekend. It finally reaches the eastern northeastern part of the country by the second half of the upcoming weekend. Well, let's wrap up with the surface forecast maps. Again, there are a few showers around right now in D.C. and Philadelphia. Maybe New York City will get in on a shower or two over the next few hours. Expect clearing skies this afternoon, and that will allow temperatures to jump from the 40s and 50s to afternoon highs near the 70-degree mark, maybe even into the lower to mid-70s in places like D.C. This system is weakening, and again, that will allow for clearing skies this afternoon. Here we are by this evening. A raging snowstorm with strong winds across North Dakota. And here's the surface low right here. And again, we talked about on the warm side, in the warm sector. Look at this flow of air. Just follow the isobar pattern. This is warm, humid air pumping up into the Mississippi Valley region, into the Central Plains later on today and tonight. And this is where the severe weather threat exists for later today. It shifts to the Mississippi Valley region and the Deep South on Wednesday, but warm and humid air to the south and east of this very strong low pressure system, and a very cold air mass pushing in to the southeast from the northwest later on today into tonight. Let's go even farther in time, and again, this is Wednesday afternoon now. The severe weather threat shifts from the Central Plains into the Mississippi Valley region, and again, watch out in the Deep South as well. Late tomorrow night, places like northern Alabama, for example, Mississippi can have some severe thunderstorm activity. Still snowing midday tomorrow in North Dakota. They'll have about a 24-hour period of accumulating snow here in the middle part of the month of April. Again, some spots may receive 20 to 25 inches of snow in North Dakota. Here's the location right here. At this particular time of that strong surface low right here, continuing to move to the north and east as we get past the middle part of the work week here. And here we go by Thursday morning. That initial cold front starts to weaken, but it can produce some strong thunderstorms in the eastern states on Thursday. And just look at this fetch of air right here, bringing some cold air for this time of the year across the upper part of the Midwest on Thursday, and that continues to slide to the south and the east. Let's move forward here. A shower with that initial cold frontal system, maybe a strong thunderstorm on Thursday afternoon, Thursday night. A little bit cooler, but still pretty nice in the northeast on Friday, but still quite cold relative to normal up across the upper Midwest and the northern plains. And that cold air continues to push to the south and east. And here we go. By the time we get to Saturday afternoon, there'll be a strong cold front right in this region, right here, moving to the south and east. And that will usher in colder air. Indeed, it looks like by the time we get to Sunday morning, right here, we'll have a pretty cold air mass, not only in this part of the nation relative to normal, I'm talking, but all the way across the northern U.S. This whole part of the nation right here will be cold relative to normal, while the southern U.S. on Easter Sunday will be warmer than normal. But again, it looks like highs probably back down into the 50s on Sunday, Easter Sunday, places like D.C., Philadelphia, New York City. And that follows 80 degrees as a possibility for Wednesday afternoon and Thursday afternoon. So the active weather pattern continues, not only for the rest of this week, but it looks like for the next couple of weeks. That's it for now. For ArcfieldWeather.com, I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.